I keep forgetting that.
You just message one person. He's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I just haven't done it
It
because I
w-
haven't been streaming in months.
I messaged him at the start of one of our streams, and by the halfway point, he's like, yep, you're added. Oh.
Cool.
Nice.
Actually, I need to be BRB right now. So
I think I tried that once way at the beginning when they were testing it, so it doesn't work anymore. So I have to re-add it because I think they redid the system.
ECPC, if I can suggest for your Patreon, just put more content on there. You're doing all these sketches for the Galacon stuff, compile them into like a weekly, here's all the sketches I did this week, the Galacon sketches, here you go, look at them, all in high quality scans. The reason is because statistically what they find, Patreons that post more, it doesn't even matter like the level of content, just the ones that have more continuous updates, people are more willing to just throw money at them.
Totally.
I need to post more on my Patreon. It was that I was like producing stuff and then like, oh cool, there's a picture done. I'll put it on my Patreon and then like release it for like a couple weeks later and like schedule it on DeviantArt and Tumblr and everything. And then I just like haven't been doing that because I haven't been making any pictures, or it's like something I'm working on that isn't like going to be released online or something.
Do both, CPC. You do the individual ones, and then at the end of it, you're like, here's the massive PDF. Enjoy.
And like, there's strategies you can do with this. I know you want to give everyone the PDF, but you can stretch out your stuff, stretch out your content, so there's always a constant flow. Like Zomzom said, every week you could post a grouping of them, and when it's done, you have a nice compiled PDF of everything together. Like, it's all content, and people will like it either way.
Yeah, because you can set the scheduled releases. So just set scheduled releases for like, here's 3 pages of the sketchbook every week. That's half a year's worth of content right there. Auto posting.
Yeah. And that makes it easier for you to get more content going because you'll always have something posting, and that means you can put stuff in between that's something that is guaranteed to be always posting.
Also means you take a month off to go take a nap? Whatever.
No, who does that, Tom? Like, come on.
I don't know. It's not like I haven't drawn an actual picture in like 2 years.
And yeah, like, time off. Yeah, I think some people also fall to like the DeviantArt syndrome when it comes to Patreon. Like, oh, people are paying me, so I can only post good finished work. It's like, no, people are paying you because they want to see the messy and the beforehand and the stuff no one gets to see.
Also,
at least that's what I think.
Also, because we just want to throw money at you.
Exactly. Yeah. They want to support you and they want to see all your stuff, everything.
We support the mission statement of Fluff the World.
Exactly. Just crawling in the pool. We should get you that. There's like a novelty thing I've seen before where it's like a shower notepad where you can like write stuff down in the shower. Except we'll get that for CPC and she can just draw while in the water.
No, you're doing this wrong. Ah, shit. One sec. How about I learn to spell right? There they are. Yeah.
Perfect. CPC can now art in the water.
Anyway, we're live.
Hi.
Is the Fluffies back? No? Okay. Well, no. We're gonna. Do we just do it? Do we just do it live? I mean,
is there anyone here?
There's Cold Trail.
Oh, hi, Cold.
Love you. Like in the friendly sort of, haha, I'll hug you.
Sort of friendship, friendly way.
Magic. Whatever that thing is. So welcome everyone to the 129. Holy crap, are we there yet?
Wow.
What are we doing for 130? Anyway. Welcome everyone to the 129th live stream. We've been here.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Why did we do this again?
Because we believe in art and helping each other.
Oh.
Those are both good things.
Mostly friendship and ponies, but
I thought it's just so we know what day Tuesday is of the week.
we only have 1,105 streams to go until we're at 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, let's do this.
I mean, I'm gonna be real. I'm just here for, getting paid in all of our sweet sponsorships.
Speaking of paid, Circle Space. Circle Space is much like Oval Space, but brought to you by the makers of Bubbles.
And it's
Bubbles.
way better than Squarespace.
Way better.
And
And don't get me started on Pentagon Space.
Catalog.
Didn't you hear Pentagon Space had to be closed down?
What? Oh, right.
They
It
were-
got taken over by Hex Space. Okay.
They were also leaking state secrets.
Oh my god. Let's just go back. Let's just go back to Triangle Space. I'm just gonna say it. But back to the classics.
I don't know. Space.
No.
Oh yeah, the one that didn't have a shape. It was just an empty blank canvas.
We're off to a great start.
We are quite tired. So, listen, it's hot. Okay, our brains are fried.
It's true.
Yeah, actually, mine's on the grill right now.
Oh yeah.
I was wondering what that smell was. I'm getting hungry.
It's a little peanutty.
So, to take our minds off the heat, we have those arty things.
Yeah. And
Or at least just one.
And the voices you hear in your head right now is Aliclaw,
Oh, hi.
Princess Fluffy's Eye,
Hello.
and me, slowly
The Zamzam.
chewing on your brain.
The living dead of us all. He's more alive and dead than you could ever be.
That's
At the same time.
deep. Oh yeah, and
Listen, I try to be.
there's a cute pencil case fluffing the world.
She's good at it. She's a big old fluffer. It's the best.
So this picture is brought to us by, who was this? Corn. Yeah, Corn, CZ11. You might know them from virtually a third of our streams. Hi, Corn. So let's talk this picture. Their question is, and what might you be? Apparently it's a new style. Blending tips for Clip Studio would help if you have them. Cool. Oh my gosh, KT!
I saw the
That is
ping, but I haven't had time to move my mouse yet.
Ah!
That's awesome.
I got to see the sketch for that, and this has just gotten better.
I know she did like something similar last week on my birthday. She's like us. It's like it was just like a much more simple one. That's really cool. She's KT. But post this. I hope you're showing this to the stream.
Cute pencil case.
That's really cool.
So cute.
She drew us doing the critique show.
We always accept bribes of art.
This should be our new little banner thing. Over
Agreed.
the chat.
Yeah.
Especially because one of the
Oh,
people
awesome.
in there isn't here anymore, and Fluffy's Eyes. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get to this in a moment.
I am the new that person.
The new that person.
I'm trying to get to the Picato right now, so I haven't put it on my screen yet.
I love it. This is seriously awesome, KT.
So great.
Totally just sent it to the printer.
Is it the one with the? Is it the one with the red mane? Is that an
It
early
is.
version of
It is
Ali?
the only picture we have.
I heard she was like a diva huff and just kind of left the thing.
Hmm.
You know.
What?
Who were they?
What? No, they
They're just-
they weren't a deep what?
No. Fluffy said red mane. Fluffy said red mane, and I'm making a joke about me leaving the stream.
I get it.
Anyway.
That got confusing real quick. So hi everyone.
Hey.
Alright, so this picture, as I said, was from Core and CZ11, and they have a question about blending tips for Clip Studio. I assume they're talking Clip Studio Paint?
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't used the blending tool aggressively in Clip Studio Paint. Has anyone else?
When I first discovered Manga Studio 5, and I was like, oh my god, I used to use 4, and it was like really confusing and messy, and 5 is so great. There were three things I mainly used: the pen, the eraser, and the blending tool. I pretty much just like would paint with those, and I was like really experimenting with my art for a very short time. But I sort of I did use the blending tool for a while. In fact, I set it to the hotkey W, so I have Q for the pen, W for the blend tool, and E for the eraser, and then I got 1 and 2 as the brush size. So my hand could just stay in one corner of the keyboard. But no, the blending tool is really helpful, and it can be useful. But one thing I found, which I use now instead, is I use under the brush, I use the smooth watercolor brush, and that is I find much nicer because it's sort of like a more stable and controlled blending brush. And if you don't push very hard, then it doesn't really use the paint. You have to like be very direct to use to get it to actually paint. But it means that if you do want to add like a little bit of color, you just push a little bit harder, and boom, some paint comes out. So it's sort of a very nice combination between like painting and blending. So I use that to like blur colors and stuff, like if I do a shading or something. So I would recommend going to the brushes on Clip Studio and using the smooth watercolor brush. I don't think you have to like mess around with it. I think it's just the settings. Good to go. Do it.
See, I always have such trouble when people ask me about what brushes to use to do X, Y, and Z, because I feel like there's
Depends.
suggestions, and to me there's like no right answer, and a lot of my stuff comes from playing and using multiple things to get the things I want to happen.
Yeah.
I can never give a clear answer. So my best suggestion is to sort of even like brush types and blending tools aside, I think it's good to understand blending in general. Like, what is too much blending? What's, when is it good to blend versus not blend? Because a lot of stuff like that can help blending look better no matter what tool you use. I know a big thing can be, which is done a lot, is over blending. People will blend every single shade they have, every single highlight. There'll be no hard edges. I do see some hard edges here, which is great. But even with some hard edges, sometimes over blending can be a thing, or not enough blending can be a thing. Like,
Yeah.
I look at your ear here. It goes really dark really fast. Yes, it's like a crevice, but there would still be just a little bit more of like a,
Yeah.
a softer
Fade.
blend into the light. Yeah, fade, thank you. That's the correct word. But, yeah, as far as it comes to blending, really let yourself experiment and really get an understanding of, the right ways to blend in general, even with like just a pencil, what feels right. Because sometimes tools get confusing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's all about just like playing and experimenting to see what works the best. Because, like, yeah, it's a lot of it just comes from trying something out. And sometimes you might be trying to do a particular thing, and you're trying to use the tool you think is right for the job, and then you try a different one, and it's like, oh, I can actually do something different that I didn't really think of before. So it all depends on how you use the tools more than anything else. Oh, that was a noise.
Sorry, there's noise coming from outside. I'm closing windows.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Blending.
I think it's just sort of, yeah, just practicing with the tool until until you sort of get the feel of how it works. And like, I really wish that I was a lot looser with it. I don't really follow his art anymore, but I used to watch Atrial's streams, and I was always so impressed with how he just like adds shading and highlights. He just like scribbles it on with like a loose pen or like a sort of like density water brush, and then he'll just like blur it over with like a blending thing, and it just looks so good the way he does it. And I tried to do that for a while. It's just not how I usually do stuff, but if I was better at it, I probably would. But it's that kind of thing. It's like you practice with it enough, so you're like you get to be that good with it, not because the tool's good, but because you sort of know what you're doing with it.
Tools can only get you so far. The important thing is to learn the tools.
So
but yeah, to start, I think all the suggestions that were said here are great. Check out the watercolor brushes, check out what Clip Studio Paint has to offer blending wise in their brushes, maybe acrylics, watercolors, and even with their blending set, because they do have blending tools. Play around with those and see how they react. Just simply like make a bunch of circles and just try to blend them. Just try to make that like, little circle practice.
And just practice making like squiggles and lines and seeing how you can like mess the color around with the brushes.
Absolutely.
So off topic from shading, and blending and stuff if I can. I'm a little confused about the body. You've got like the head goes down here, and I can see this is like the sort of underbelly thing here of the dragon. I'm sort of trying to figure out like shoulder. I know this is like a shoulder. I don't know if this is like the chest or if there's like another shoulder here and this is like the back or something. But I'm trying to figure out like where this is because it almost looks like the shoulders here, and
That's
then
an
the arms
arm.
come around.
It goes way down here.
Oh, it's a one. Okay, I see. It's like zoomed in and they're like leaning. They're doing the whole like suave like. Okay, I see it now. That's where I was. That's what I wanted to know.
But you do raise a valid point. Depending on how long that arm is, please, 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 please thumbnail that thing out. The reason is, right now this elbow goes out here, and this arm goes down there, according to what we're seeing for lines. There is a missing connection here. So, thumbnailing it out beneath, or even doing what we're doing, just little quick sketch, we catch those, and then we can quickly establish that we just gotta curve this arm a bit more, and everything gets better.
And another thing is that by doing that, you can also get proportions to work out a little bit better. Because right now, this hoof and the way it's bending, right now the hoof is ginormous. It is massive compared to the leg. Like, it's the same thickness as your shoulder, maybe even thicker. So things like that you need to watch out for. And also the way it's bending, it looks like it's broken. Because it's like such an extreme.
Because the body's on this side, so you got the torso. This is a very messy sketch. I'm sorry, but you got the shoulder here on this side. That goes down, and you got like kind of the outside edge. That's not a color. This one different. So you got the outside edge sort of here. Then it comes back up, would assumingly be at like this angle, and then the outside edge, or if we're following the same thing, is going to bend around here. But it's like it's sort of twisted back, and then when it gets to here, it's like pointed away. I almost feel like it's sort of bent in 3 different angles. Like it's coming this way, and then it's like going back up in this sort. I can't see any of the fucking stuff.
Here, why don't we just erase some of what we have going
and
on?
then it's I'm trying to use like the 3D arrows here to, but it's sort of going 3 different directions, and it looks a bit jarring.
Here, it's fine. We'll just erase everything, and then you can.
Yeah.
We're all on layer 3.
It's just trying to get arrows to point in 3D space on a 2D thing is like the hard part.
Yep.
But if you get what I sort of mean, like it's bending up here and then it's going back this sort of direction, that's sort of like where it looks like it's bending and twisting a little bit. Like I can't really easily. It doesn't feel like a comfortable like position to be doing.
And I think, to me, a majority of why it feels uncomfortable is because the proportions are so off, and the limbs are kind of all over the place size-wise.
Yeah.
So if you work on maybe before you even draw with her arm up, maybe just like draw her in that position, making her arm just like hold out straight, so you can get an idea of how long it would be, and then you can figure out how to bend it.
Yeah. That's what we were saying about like thumbnailing. It's a good idea to like, because then you map it out and you're like, hey, is this the picture I'm gonna be doing? It's just and there's the body. I guess it's like this, cool, and then clear that a little bit, and the leg's gonna go up like this, and cool, and then you can sort of figure it out. And that looks really messy and terrible, but you get the idea. Like drawing it little, then you get the idea of how it's meant to look. I cannot for the life of me get my eraser to work properly. What was I using just a second ago? These tools. I'm confused.
Yeah, the tools are very unique.
You got like the numbers like on Aggie, but then there's like I'm confused. They don't seem to work the same way.
So, if I'm going to talk about the rest of the drawing too, a few nitpicky things. Your ear is really close to your eye. It's like encroaching onto the eye. And I don't know this character by heart. I know it's one of the Them's Fighting Herd characters. But I for sure know that the ear does not come out right behind their eyeball. Most animals don't have that.
It makes the eye here look like a sticker that's kind of like going on top of the ear.
So just something to be careful of, because even if you look at your ear over here, which is has a much better placement, it is not right behind your
Yeah, it's
eye.
much further
It's
away.
pulled back. It's behind the head. It's got a lot more depth going on. Why does this keep making a line?
But I
There's
would
another
like.
ear.
Yeah, there's another ear. Thank you.
It's one thing because I do understand when you're drawing a character and you're looking at the reference and you're like, okay, there's this shape and that shape. It's one thing to sort of like be very focused on getting those shapes in so that you can sort of resemble the character. But then it's easy to forget to sort of look at it as an anatomical thing, because then it's sort of not on the forefront of your mind. You're trying to get the character right. You're trying to make it look like the character. I actually feel flipping it around. So I sort of noticed this, and I wanted to rotate to mirror the image a sec to see if I was right. I think the eye should be just moved downwards a little bit.
Oh,
Because
absolutely, yeah.
then
That's a
it
good
would
point.
fit with this one a bit better. So then there we go. It's further away from the ear. You just move it a little bit like this, and you can move the ear back just a little bit, and there you've got at least a little bit of distance between them.
And even if you're doing the raised eyebrow, your eye doesn't need to. The eye can still be down further. I think that's the major problem, is the placement. You wanted to go with the exaggerated raised eyebrow, and you kind of lost the position of the eye itself. Let's see. Oh, I got one other thing. So I'm going to assume these glasses are see-through because we can see parts of the eye and the cheek. Now, the only thing I'll say, and this is like a nitpick, if you're gonna have it see-through in one place, have it see-through in all the places. Like, we should see the joint going on here, and maybe even
Yeah.
have the color. Like, you know how you have the shade going on across the face? It gets really bright, and then you go and it gets darker as you go that direction. We should see that in the glasses too, because if it's see-through, you're gonna see the color reflection behind. Like, you just put a piece of glass over, I don't know, a table, and the table still has like sun shining on it. You're still gonna see how the sun reflects on the table through the glass. So, like, if you put a glass in front of this face, you're still gonna see it reflect. You're still gonna see the the changes of shadow on the face through the glass.
Yeah.
Everything gets affected, especially if it's like clear or more opaque. Or sorry, translucent. My apologies.
Yeah.
The word is translucent.
All right, that's all I got for this. How about you folks?
Good.
Okay, sorry.
Oh,
I got one more. Less
Go
is
ahead.
more when it comes to hair. There's a lot of spiky things going on in this hair, and I feel like it doesn't really help. It makes it look a little more messy and stiff and less like actual hair.
I think the original characters of the hair is supposed to be like either strongly resembling fire or actually fire. I will look them up for a sec.
strongly resembling fire.
Tianhuo.
Yeah. And like, it's totally fine to have it as regular hair. It doesn't need to be fire. That can be your interpretation. But even for like spiky and messy hair, these little itty bitty like points you have going on, I think aren't necessary and kind of make it feel messier.
Oh, it is actually
It doesn't
fire.
feel like. Oh, there you go. Well, still.
If I may, one of the things that's going to really help you here is, instead of just building up, overlap instead. Just
Yeah.
every piece of your hair is in front of the other piece of hair as it moves down. That's weird. That's very weird. You'd see all sorts of little spikes sticking out, overlapped by other bits. Just throw a bunch of overlapping shapes on there, and it's going to look a lot more real, quote unquote.
Because you gotta consider how this hair is, even if we do break it down to clumps.
Because
Overlap.
it's not like a bunch of little foxtail clumps like glued together at the base. It's all like one mess of hair. It just has spikes where certain parts flow in certain directions.
And like, even because to me it's kind of like a sawtooth effect going on. Every spike down this part of the hair feels the exact same angle, coming out the exact same way with the exact same spiky texture. It all
Mm,
feels very stiff and unnatural.
yeah.
There's no flow to it. Even with spiky hair, there'll still be some differences going on, maybe
I
even different directions.
see what I like in you used a little bit. There are a few little. Oops, wrong program. I think I'm trying to zoom in. There are a few little sections where you've used some pretty nice little details. Like you got this part here where it's sort of like has like a little jagged, like the spikes sort of split. You got parts here where you got like a little small spike in between the big ones. That's something that I like to utilize a lot. But what you need to focus on more is like the differentiation. So you can utilize those. Like here's a split. This one's going to go at a different angle. You've got to have an overlap here. Okay, then it's like a small one into big. This one's coming at a different angle. Then I'm going to throw in some little messy, loose hairs there. And there you got like more natural looking spiky hair. And
Yeah.
it's all about utilizing the detail. And I love these little like sketchy sketches. These add a nice little soft detail, especially where that's what we talk about a lot, right? Like using line weight to do detailing. That's really nice, especially like this here, where you got this sort of the outline comes here, breaks, more outline here, swerves inwards towards this like curve here, and then breaks again, and you got some little squitches before the line comes back in. So that's a really nice, like the hair flows into itself and blends into itself, and you've broken the outline up with these little bits here. That's all the stuff in here is really nice because it's soft and it looks good. Like, that's some really nice use of detailing. It's just sort of about mixing it up and making it more inconsistent and natural.
All right.
We did it.
We did it. Anyone else have any art they'd like critiqued?
Just feel free to throw it at our faces.
If not,
Send us art, all you lovely listeners.
yeah. What he said.
No one's posted a comment in the Jakarta except for Cold Trail.
There's barely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says there's 9 people watching, but the only people in there is Zamzam, me, Fluffy, Dino, and Cold Trail.
We love you, Cold Trail. Thank you for being the only person in the chat. You 8 other guy. Actually, well, whatever the difference is between us, because we're all probably counted. Yeah. The rest of you, send us your art to critique. And if you're a future person watching on YouTube, hi future person, hope that the weather isn't super hot still, and feel free to go to the Reddit and shove your art at us so that we can critique it next week, or just show up here on the Picato at Tuesdays. What time is it in your time zone?
5 p.m. Eastern.
I got 5:30 as our start time.
5 is my apology. That's our start time, not your.
And
guys.
10:30 BST. So just you can show up and you can give us your art and it'll be great.
But in 3 weeks, hold it. 1, 2, 3.
Are we not here next week?
4 weeks. 4 weeks. We'll have an extra special show.
Really?
Yes.
For the 133rd stream?
Yeah.
No.
It's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm over in Finland with a bunch of these people. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Special.
So we get to high five each other, and I'm forcing them to critique with us at gunpoint.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I just sorry. I know we were sort of done with the picture, but I just thought of something. I looked at it again, and again, my brain still goes to being like, okay, the neck's coming down here, and then like the torso, like the shoulders going up here, and I realized it's because there needs to be just like a little bit of shadow under the chin, and then boom,
yeah,
then
totally
your brain
needs that.
can work it out.
Yep. Agreed. Hopefully they're still
Yeah,
watching.
I just want to say that because I figured out why my brain was getting confused.
Proud of you.
So yeah.
CPC, feel free to share things like that on your Patreon. Like, that's exactly what people are signing up for. That
Absolutely.
and, being thrown art in their face holes. You can get traditional ones through hers.
CVC has a really good picture of this OC, I must say.
Hey, Torsen. Oh my gosh, I love their little image. Go look at their little icon.
Tor-
It's so cute.
Torsen.
Adorable.
How do I view it bigger?
I don't know. I don't think you can.
Well,
You
it's
just kinda
cute
click
anyway.
on it.
Send it to us. Send us your avatar because it looks cute. But yes, hi, Torsen. You're also a cute and fluff pone.
Yeah, what they said.
Yeah.
Um, right. So that's us. We got no other art, so we're gonna call it a day, I guess.
Woo!
Woo!
I hope you enjoyed a single critique stream. Go team!
Y'all should
Oh wait,
support Cute
Torsen
Pencil
said
Case
wait.
Patreon.
Oh,
Same with
you're
Cute
oh
Size Patreon. And
Torsen said he can show arts.
oh, we got more arts. Okay. Well then, our sponsor, Cute Pencil Case and Fluffy's Eye, have Patreon. They're our sponsors.
Wait,
Go
Fluffy's Eye
check
has a
them out.
Patreon
You,
too.
you want me to? You want us to pay you now?
You pay in love and fluff.
Oh yes, and critiquing with fluff.
And yes, Fluffy's Eye does have a Patreon.
Yes, I do. I need to update it at some point.
Wait, what? You're about to leave.
Stranger
Okay.
Sora said beep boop, show us the arts and support the Patreon peeps.
Oh yeah, that's still on, isn't that?
Patron peeps.
It's
Yeah, we
never
gotta
gonna get
have
old.
the patron peeps.
Patron.
So yeah, Torsten actually did send. So false alarm. Torsten sent us a pic.
I had to find my tablet pen. I looked all around my desk.
You tucked your tablet away in one of those like metal cases. Like each of the slots like has like the shape cut out of it. Like you could like assemble a gun from it or something.
I actually have a slot built into my desk for it.
Oh no!
Ooh.
How fancy!
I know. This is when I was building the
Yay!
desk.
Last minute second arts by Torsten, and it's a cute pinky.
So
I really
friend.
like this curly hair. I like it in a ponytail. It's really cute.
Yeah. Tell us about this pic.
Yes, what's going on?
Is she on a
What
boat?
questions?
I think she's on a boat. I'm not sure. They will explain.
A seductive
I'm on a
boat.
boat and it's really nice. And
Stranger Sora
She's
said
on a
that
roof.
guy is quite big.
Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed.
Big,
You got really thin neck, and then like the
oh, she's on a
whole,
roof.
Yeah, the whole shape kind of like triangles out, which is a bit unnatural, I think.
Dude, that angle is all wrong. Unless if it's a weird pointy roof like this. Like the roof shapes like that.
Yeah. Like it's specifically a weird architecture kind of thing.
Yeah. There you go. Zaya's just fixed it. Well, yeah. Boom.
Yeah,
It's
and
basically just giving it more of a horizontal line to give it, like a horizon instead of, because it really does feel like it's coming to a point, and unless you're doing some really crazy perspective thing, it won't really be
Oops.
a point like that.
I'm gonna redo that because I was on the background there because I posted that picture earlier.
So,
Oh no.
if I may, Torsten, if being half asleep is the problem, my suggestion was do the doodle, come back the next day, and then see what you can do. Flip the image, it doesn't matter. Just come back later and keep going. Coming back to art is not a bad thing. Completely reasonable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually talking about doing that with Ali earlier because I was drawing something, and then like I was talking to her while I was drawing it and kind of distracted. I'm like, I can't really think about this anymore. I can't think of like if this is a good picture or not.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need
Oh,
to step-
I realized why I'm drawing on the wrong layer. LD put it on layer 3.
Ah!
Click insert layers.
Layer
There,
4.
saved again.
There's 4 and 5. This is the most layers we've had. We're going nuts over here. But yeah, so as we were saying, sometimes it's great to like come back to a picture because like you refresh your mind.
Mhm. The
Drawing
most powerful
straight
you-
on a tablet when you can't rotate is the most nightmare. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Ali.
Oh no, you're fine. I totally lost my train of thought because I was looking at the ponytail. I still really like how you do the ponytail. It's really cute. Oh, another thing that can help with perspective is having more things on that perspective. Right now, it's hard to believe your perspective, at least when you have such a sharp one as that, because you have nothing else on that perspective. It's all kind of loose, so there's nothing for me to compare it to or base it off of. like if we're talking about size differences, usually to make something make sense, you need to have other things to compare it to. Like if you have a tree in the foreground, then you need to have trees in maybe the midground or the background to really get a scale of things. Just like perspective, if you just have one object in a perspective, it's kind of hard to tell, if it's in a perspective, especially when you do extreme perspectives. It can kind of get weird because there's nothing to really connect the dots. It's just kind of like, oh, this is a strange shape being bent strangely. But the truth is, it's at an extreme angle, or there's like maybe you have like a fisheye effect going on, and it's only affecting the one shape. A lot of things that could help in art is just having some sort of comparison and continuity. Humans like to see patterns and connect dots, and when you have stuff to compare to, it really brings the picture together, in my experience.
Yeah, definitely. I think that makes sense. I'm just working on a little bit of the body. Because yeah, that's Strange said I think it was Strange with the text to speech. There's a very thick thigh, but we can sort of balance it out. Okay, I think because the rest of the body is so thin, it kind of becomes a bit straight. But we've got we get a bit of a thicker neck there. Oh, I don't know why I undid that line because it made the perfect little fluff. So you got her leaning on the roof here, the roof with her hoof. So shoulders about here. So just sort of like building things up. Like, okay, this is where that part starts, and then you sort of just figure it out. From there, you've got to have that basis, and about balancing it. And it might not even come out right because I'm just sort of drawing over your drawing. I think I've probably given this advice once, but a lot of the time it can be very hard to fix something when you're just like trying to fix up an image as opposed to just like drawing it fresh. Like a lot of the times I'm doing something and I'm like going over and over it trying to fix stuff, and then it's like, oh, screw this, I'm just gonna draw it fresh, and then it's like so much easier. Yeah, I feel like this pony, unless there's like a wind on her, this ponytail would sort of be a bit more droopy.
I kind of see, like, I agree, but I also kind of disagree. But it's not really disagreeing; it's just another interpretation. But like,
it could be just like high stuck up.
The way I see it, it's like I like it because right now I like the general flow. You kind of got this like thing going on, this nice little curve.
Yeah. Let me you know what I think it is?
Like, yeah. You got that nice curve, and I like that about the picture. So I almost want the hair to kind of cloud.
I think a compromise works here. I think it is good in this position, being at this kind of like high up ponytail. But I think what it is because it goes upwards. That's why my brain is like, it's kind of working against gravity. If you
have the tip go down,
have it maybe down a little bit further, and then just like I'm doing this really badly, but have it sort of pointed downwards a little bit. It's just so that you can see it's sort of like asserting gravity still. I know her mane typically like defies the laws of physics, but you know.
Like, Strangersaurus said
only when it needs
anti-gravity
to.
hair is best hair.
I mean, I think it's all valid suggestions. Like I said, I just really like that flow. That's why I'm like, I kind of like pushing that hair up high. And I'll make my excuse by saying Pinkie Pie is Pinkie Pie, so I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. Just looking at the balancing of the face, I feel like the eye on this side is a bit small looking. I think it's just the bottom of the eye. It stops too soon. It needs to come down a little bit further. And
I
then
agree.
Get your face. It's hard to see really what I'm drawing. I tried to do like the fade layer. Let me just turn it up a little bit. Which was I drawing on? 5. Cool. I need just like a not terrible color here. Let's try this again. Nope. The search for a color that we can actually critique with is a challenge. So yeah, you got the eye, just because they're both going to go to this level. It's just like part of it sort of covered by the snoot. And then you have the face come around, and you got the neck coming out from under that. And then now the body doesn't feel super thin at the top and thick at the bottom anymore because it's a bit more balanced. See what I mean? and you can feel free to do it how it works for you. You do not have to copy the lines exactly as I've done them. I mean, it's not even the shapes that I usually use for drawing. Like, I actually quite like how those legs look, but that's not normally how I do it. Just, what we say isn't gospel. It's not the right way to do it. I'm just sort of showing you how to figure it out, if that makes sense.
We just give suggestions. It's your job to try and figure things out.
I can never remember. Oh, okay. The rotating the canvas is really. Now it just won't let go of it. It's really confusing. Trying to sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Then it doesn't let go again.
It's a bully.
On the right front hoof, I was trying to figure out how to make that up.
So like how to make that how to make her lean on the roof.
The way Fluffy's eyes done it, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
It gives it the weight behind it.
But that is still a very casual lean. Like her weight is just kind of on her tush, and her hoof is just like next to her. If it was it's hard to do from this angle, I think, but if she was really leaning on it, she'd be like leaning more towards the side. If you wanted to have the weight on the hoof, but she doesn't really need to. I mean, that's kind of an uncomfortable thing when you could just be sitting. So I really hope that I like to think if she were to accidentally slip from here, she'd just be able to do like the helicopter tail thing. Because I'm like, be careful, Pinky.
Yeah, I think you were pretty much good with your hoof. I think with your leg, I think the big thing was the hoof, and that it needed to make contact with the roof and with the angle you were drawing at. It was more like a cylinder going this way rather than,
Yeah.
the roof is the square going on.
You've got to look at the planes that we talk about.
Yeah. Lots of things,
Yeah, there's lots of things to figure out with art, but they all start to work together once you figure it out.
Absolutely. Oh no. I'll just undo. There we go. Boom.
I like the "oh no, I'm on the wrong layer" text. Like that is just us. That is art in a nutshell. That's the pain. Who hasn't expressed that exact sentiment many times in their art life?
I think the worst it always is that when you're lining your sketch and you're almost done and you found out you were lining.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do. You can't just
No.
get rid of that shit, because then the outline's gonna be if you try to just do the brightness contrast thing, the outline's gonna be all harsh, and it's just no, you can't fix it.
Life is hard.
Or one thing that I've done is I go through the entire outline, and I noticed that the color that the pen tool I was using was at 95% opacity or something tiny, so I couldn't notice it, but it's slightly transparent, and then you can see it once the color's in, and it's oh my god, no.
All right. Do you have any other questions, Tarzan? Anyone else have any art they'd like to submit?
Give us your art time, art party, critiquing ponies, fluffy pounds.
Small horses.
Is anyone else
Take
doing
me
art
to the
play
horses.
besides CPC and me?
I am not.
If you guys don't know, Art Fight's this really cool thing that happens every year apparently, and it's just a bunch of artists signing up, and you're on 2 different teams, and the teams attack each other by drawing gift art for each other, and it's just all around good time. Everyone's drawing art for each other.
Sounds silly. But I'm glad that we could help, Torsten. Thank you so much for coming and submitting.
Yeah.
All right then.
And I'll just. Well,
Seeing as we have no other art and no other questions, we'll be calling it a day. Thank you all for coming, and see you again next week.
bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Bye. Bye.